All right, welcome y'all to episode number 11 of Bayou Land Churches. Okay, so I have a couple of things coming up for y'all this upcoming week. So the first is the cleanup day at St Philomena. That's gonna be on Saturday, August the 18th, and we're gonna work. We're gonna begin working at 8 o'clock. Come whenever you want, but we're gonna begin working at 8 o'clock, and we're gonna finish around 11. Judging by this last Saturday workday at St Anne's, I think we should be able to wrap up everything within 2-3 hours. Okay, so we finish early. We'll just have brunch a little early. Last year we had a lot of work to do, but this year it's more maintenance than anything, like just keeping up, maintaining, rather than a haul out. Okay, but there are a couple of rooms that we do need to haul out. For example, the zero turn shed that needs a lot of attention. So anyways, we'll begin work at 8 o'clock, and we'll cap everything at 11, so you can go home, clean up, and eat up and whatnot. So on Saturday, August 25th, there will be a cleanup day also for Assumption Parish, and that will go, instead of 8 o'clock, we're going to push it back to 8:30 instead, just to get me some more sleep on a Saturday morning. If you want to come work early, you're more than welcome to, but I'm officially setting the time at 8:30. There's not a whole lot of stuff over there at Assumption also. So we're going to work from 8:30 until about 10:30, and we're going to close with a little snack and brunch. So the things that needs to be done at Assumption Parish, the choir loft inside of the church, the bathroom, the closets, and also the stairways in the youth house. I like to also have the condenser unit sprayed down, not with a pressure washer though. So all that needs is basically hook up a hose and one of those hose attachments with the spray setting on there, and just go to town. But using a pressure washer will damage the fins on the condensers. We don't want that. And also a little bit of attention is needed to the cemetery, just picking up dead flowers or broken vases, anything of that nature. The big thing might be the pressure washing for the sidewalk, whatever we didn't finish last year. And the reason why I organize and plan for these work days is for two reasons. One is because it's the house of our Lord that we come in every week to worship in. It needs to be maintained, and whenever we have the larger parishioner pitch in and help, it really builds that community too. I mention community a lot because it's something that I grew up with, not only in my own family, but also while I went to college. I went to a seminary college, and the word community is brought up almost on a daily basis, with having our rector reminding us. So the rector is basically the spiritual father. He's the pastor of the seminary. And with us, and with him telling us on a daily basis that, guys, we're in here to not only pray, discern priesthood, but also we're here to build up an apostolic community. And that apostolic community is something that we take with us even after priesthood, or even some guys who don't make it all the way to priesthood, they take it with them through their own life, connecting with past seminarians and guys who go on to be priests. And we build that kind of community with one another. And we don't always know everyone in the community. So when I was going through the seminary, to be honest, I didn't know half the guys who were there. I knew their names. I kind of knew their short bio. But as far as getting to really know them, I didn't get to really know them until one of those workday comes across. Is because you inevitably get assigned onto a team with some seminarian that you don't know, and as you're working, you're also talking. So that's one thing I really find helpful with these work days, is they help build community. They help give us a sense of belonging. They help build our spirituality up, because as we're working, we're also, I don't know about you, but I get a great sense of pride of the time and effort that I spend with people, and also the time and effort that I spend working and cleaning up a certain area of the parish. So it's our responsibility to keep up the cleanliness, the presentation of our buildings here, buildings that are entrusted to us. So that's why I really do these work days. To be honest, I'd rather sleep in on a Saturday, but to have it once a year to bring people together to help keep up the Lord's house and also our and to build community, I can give up a few hours on a Saturday to help out. So again, I'm inviting all of our parishioners, regardless of where you are, in terms of so like a St. Anne parishioner or Assumption parishioner can come to St. Philomena. St. Philomena parishioner, Assumption parishioner can go to St. Anne's, vice versa. So don't come up to your work day just because it's your parish, okay? That doesn't exist anymore. I just want to clarify that. Okay, so you're not just a St. Philomena parishioner or St. Anne parishioner or an Assumption parishioner. If you're an Assumption parishioner, you're also a parishioner of St. Philomena and St. Anne also. And you figure out the rest of the formula there, but you're a parishioner of all three parishes now. I know I've been saying that a lot, but for some people, it still hasn't stuck yet. So, yes. Anyways, we had our altar server appreciation day on Sunday. So, as the time of the making of this video, yesterday, I had a blast. I'm sure our students had a blast too, but I had a blast. I'll post some of that videos in the video, pictures in the video for this week. We had a really good time. There were about 33 if you count me. But we had a really good time, not only with the water slide, the super soakers, and the water gun fights. It was nice. A word of appreciation again to all of our altar servers, especially when they sign up to altar serve. I'm sure there's a preparation that goes into it for the ones who have done it for a while. They're used to it, but especially for the new ones, I'm sure you get nervous as you go up there, but still you maintain that faithfulness of coming whenever you're assigned to serve. And I really want to encourage that, because to be very, very honest, it is so much easier for me to celebrate Mass with no altar servers. I know it sounds like I don't need them, but it's the truth. It's so much easier for me just to set up everything, have the sacristan set up everything at the side of the altar. When it comes time for Mass, we bring everything out from the side of the altar to the center of the altar, and from there we go to town. We pray. But it doesn't involve people. That's how I do it for a daily Mass when I don't have an altar server. I set everything up at the side of the altar, and when it's time, I set everything in the middle. It's so much easier, so much faster. But again, I've mentioned this so many times too, is that in the course of training, in the course of teaching, there's always an element of time and effort involved. And sometimes it ends in frustration. Sometimes none of my altar servers do anything that I asked correctly. But at the end of the day, I'm appreciative that they showed up and they put some effort into it. And that I will always encourage, always encourage. I don't know about the other priests around in the area, but I know for Father Juel, he does the same thing. He encourages young students to come up and serve. Father Matthew Graham in Pankerville, Belrose, he does the same thing too. And really, that's what we want. This is the only way that we can encourage vocations, is through our demeanor, our invitation to our young students to come up and serve. So again, these altar server appreciation days that we have is in many ways to show a little bit of our appreciation to our altar servers who have stayed committed to serving at Mass. And also a word about the age of altar servers. I'm always recruiting new altar servers. Sometimes I'll walk up right before Mass behind a kid and I tap on his or her shoulders and I go, "Hey, you want to serve Mass today?" Most likely I will get a yes, and I'll bring them to the back sacristy and get them vested and bring them out. Very first time serving, I'll guide them through the whole thing. Now, here's the issue though. A lot of altar servers are still not correctly trained, and that's on me because I haven't spent the time personally to train them. It's in the workings for right now. I am working on a number of things, an outline, videos to be able to help our altar servers get more accustomed to what they're supposed to do, but that's in the working. And again, I always encourage altar servers to come up and serve. Now, a number of parents have asked me, like, what age? Is it, age 7 after First Communion? That's been the kind of the norm in the past. I've kind of broken that norm for a number of reasons, because if you've been to any of the masses that I've celebrated, you've recognized that I've had 5, 6-year-olds up in the sanctuary to serve Mass with me. The very least they can do, hold a book for me, hold the missal. Yes, it is big, it is heavy, but they can do it. Hold the binder for me while I'm, opening my arms for prayer. So if you have young children, if you have young grandchildren who are in that 5, 6-year-old range who can serve, call the office, sign them up, and we'll go from there. But again, so much an appreciation to all of my altar servers who help serve Mass. And that the extension also goes to the ones that are in like Pankerville, 6 p.m. Mass. They're not technically our parishioners, but those are the altar servers who show up to those Mass to help with the service of that Mass. And so once again, an appreciation to all of you who have been serving Mass throughout this past year with me and with all of our priests. We will have another appreciation day next year. I really want to go to Disney World, so anyone who has a lot of money out there that can help me support that, come talk to me. I really do want to go to Disney World one year with our altar servers. So I'm just putting that out there. I'm hoping it can happen. It's a long reach, but we'll see where we go. Also, thank you to also Mr. and Mrs. Donald and Pat Verrett for donating all of the food for our altar servers on Sunday. And thank you to St. Philomena Thrift Store for donating the rental of the water slide. It is so expensive, but it's worth it. Once a year for me to have fun, for them to have fun, it is totally worth it. And so thank you to all of those people, and especially thank you to our chaperones for taking care of the kids and me. So yeah, my deepest appreciation for that. This past Thursday, we had our priest gathering with Bishop Duca, and he had made a number of remarks during his little speech. I'd like to share some of that, so I'll attach a picture of him giving the talk and also his remarks. So you'll just hear the video, the audio, but I'll attach that because there were a lot of insightful things that he had said during his remarks to all of our priests in the diocese.
Now, I grew up in Dallas, which was really not very Catholic when I grew up there. We were a minority. In Shreveport, we're the minority religion, very definitely. And so coming to an area that's more Catholic is different for me. I kind of like being in areas where you're not in such a Catholic area, because people there have to really work hard to be Catholic, be publicly Catholic. It's a definite challenge to witness that faith. And also you can't stand on too much kind of clericalism in the bad sense of the word. You can't, be too puffed up there. You really got to kind of stand down and, be proud to wear your clerics around, but not, make it a big deal. It's like it's one of those things that it kind of breeds a different sensibility. So I hope I bring some of that here, and just in my dealings with you tonight, I feel some of that presence here as well. I feel kind of a comfortableness with yourself. That's the key. As a priest, if you're comfortable with yourself, if you really come to appreciate the gifts God has given you, and kind of let those talents play through the real ministry of your priesthood, not for your sake, but for the sake of your people, and love them and let them love you, in that best sense of that word, then I think you're going to have to be a joyful priest. You have to be a happy priest. And I hope that that's what all of you are. I hope you all have that joy. I really go back more and more to Pope Francis' call to the joy of the gospel.
There are 2 more things I like to talk about. The first one, it's going to be up for the next month, is the Mausoleum sales. As you know, I've mentioned in a number of past videos that the Mausoleum inventory that we have at St. Anne, also at St. Philomena, is down to 0 now. There's none. So if you or a family member, I'm hoping nobody dies. Okay, like I don't wish death on anyone, because that's time taken out of my regular schedule that I have to go celebrate a mass. Okay, not that I'm opposed to it, but if you can live long so that you could save me from having to celebrate funeral masses, I will forever be indebted to you. Okay, but as you know, the Lord is always calling people back home. It's on His time, not my time, not your time. But people are always passing, and so by having these crypts available, and we used to have many of them, they've all been sold out now. So if someone passes over at St. Philomena or at St. Anne's now, and if they want a brand new crypt, that's no longer possible. So the only way that you could have a mausoleum crypt is if you're in Labadeville or Napoleonville. The closest one is to go to St. John's in Thibodaux, or any of the churches or cemeteries in Thibodaux, or you have to go to Pankerville. Pankerville, I think, right now has about 30 crypt open, and also in Platenville, we have 17 crypts that are open in Platenville. But those are your only options. So if you really want to be buried at the parish where you were baptized, you got First Communion, First Reconciliation, confirmed, married, as of this moment, that's not possible. The only way that it is possible is to build a brand new one. But in order to build a brand new one, we have to have, don't quote me on this, but if I was paying attention, Mr. Paul Raymond, who is running this project, said 25 families. So we have to have at least 25 families to sign up, to show interest that we really want this per parish for this to be pulled off. And it takes about 2 years for them to complete the building project. So this advertisement survey is going to run for the rest of this month. You can find all of the information at the back of the church. I will also add some of that onto the video here, but you need to sign up at the back of the church at St. Anne or at St. Philomena, respective to the parish that you want to be buried at down the line. So if you pray about it, I've heard it put it in this way, that it was the crypt that you're buying now is an investment. So you could, in theory, hypothetically, buy up to, I don't know, 5-6 crypts at one time, and then later down the line sell it off, because crypts are they don't depreciate in value. They'll always grow in value. So that's how I've heard it put to me in the past. And so anyways, like I said, consider it, pray about it, and the sign up are available now in the back of the church, and they will go for the next 4 weeks. After 4 weeks, I will submit all of those names to Mr. Paul Raymond, and we'll go from there and see if a building project is viable in our parishes. Okay, one last thing. Church signs. That has been going on for the last 7 months. I am at this point really tired of talking about it, but I gotta talk about it because we just got the new signs in. So the signs are actually done. Okay, so like the physical sign itself is carved. Thank you to Mr. Carl Kramer and his son, and also one of his helper. But they have finished with they CNC'd it. So they put it on a computer. They generated the things that need to be done, and they carved it and they painted it. It looks beautiful. I can sit there and stare at that sign for hours. It looks so good. I think it looks good. You be the judge. But that's been done already. I'll show you some of the pictures. The only sign that I can't show you is St. Anne's, because it's stacked behind 500 pounds of granite, and I can't move it by myself to take the picture of it. So the only ones that I have right now is St. Philomena and an Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary. So all three signs are done. I can show you what the final product looks like, but again, I can't show you St. Anne's because it's stacked behind 500 pounds of granite, and I can't move it. So if I could move it, I would show it to you, but I can't. So anyways, I've had there's one guy working on it with me right now to do the cement forming, and we're going to outsource it to a company. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks we'll get that done, because it really needs to get done, like for real. Okay, one last thing. So hang on 1 second. I'll be right back. Ta-da! Look who's here. All right, Father Juel, you have a new physique. You look like a new person. So seriously, we welcome you back to our parish. I know you've been gone for the last 3 months, not only on your vacation, but also you've been in the hospital for the last month. And so our parish, our community really welcomes you back. People, while you were gone, while you were in India, have inquired, asking me how you were doing, and especially the time that you were in the hospital, people were always still asking, what's going on? Do we have any updates? Do we have any news? And I tell them what I can, but I think it's best to come from you. So perhaps maybe you can share with our parishioners in those difficult moments how you got through it. How'd you get through it with prayer? How'd you get through it with support from other people?
Yes, it was a time of prayer and sometimes the personal willpower. Let me say, the last day of my stay at our headquarters, my sisters were, two of them, they came to see me there. And in fact, we came from home seeing my condition, and they said, "You shall not go today to USA." I said, "No. If I have to die, I will be called to the Lord either in the air or in the ground. So I'm going because I have made commitment to the community." That was my statement, and then I told them, the train is about to leave, so please go back to home and tell Mom that I'm going back to USA.
Yeah.
That was the most difficult decision I made. But prior to that, when I could not come on 10th of June, it was yet another hard time that after I had planned to come back, I could not come. But when I fell sick, I did have support of my IMS community. And then when I send you mails that I'm in the hospital, your mail assured me that a lot of folks here are concerned. And that made me to, leave my people, my country, and come to USA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was a kind of my zigzag story while I was in India. And the great blessing that I had was that I was able to bless the wedding of my sister. And that even gave me a lot of joy because my sister wanted to get married with this person, and this was possible on this my visit to India.
That must have been nice.
Yeah, it was very nice. But later we had certain plans, like after they got married, I wanted to visit them in their home. That was not possible for me, and they wanted to come and visit us in our home, so that was not possible. At the same time, the wedding as such was a joyful moment for all of us, the family. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my visit to India.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. I noticed, the reason why I noticed because I collected a number of those cards from parishioners while you were in the hospital. So I knew that our parishioners not only loved you, but supported you with their prayers in the hospital. But for you yourself, how did the Lord carry you through those times?
One thing that I really felt how much people love me, not only our parishioners, but our diocesan authorities, like our
The
Vicar
bishop,
General,
yeah.
and Father Tom Rangino, and Father Paul Yee, and Father David Allen.
Yeah, and the bishop
and
too. I think
all
the
of
bishop
these guys came to visit me, and last was Bishop Munch.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I told all of them how I felt. I felt I was kind of burdened to the diocese, because the diocese has to care for me, while I came here to work and support the diocese. And all of them said no. I was not a burden at this moment when I was sick. So Bishop Munch said, because of my sickness, a lot of souls are being released from the purgatory. That was his joke. And he said, take it easy, because sickness was not my choice, but it came to me. So he kind of said in a very nice way and lightened my concern, and he prayed for me and gave me his blessing.
Mm-hmm.
That was seeing Munch in the hospital bed was pretty surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So I really felt cared by the diocesan authorities, those who are concerned about the whole diocese and our parishioners here, and the cards, and also the text messages. They were overwhelming for me, that how much people prayed for me and also cared for me. So I was not left alone like that. And Mr. Kevin and Mrs. Michelle, they were there from day one till I was discharged from the hospital. And a happy thing that happened during this time was a week before I was released from the hospital, Mr. Kevin got a government job.
Yeah.
And he was praying for that
right.
job, and he got it at that moment.
Yeah, so just to give our parishioners a background about the couple. So there was a couple that Father Juel first met when he came to America, and they got to become good friends. And so when Father Juel fell sick, this particular couple had basically stayed with him almost 24/7 for a whole month, taking care of his needs. So our gratitude from all three of our parishes goes out to Mr. Kevin and Miss Michelle for having sacrificed so much of your time to be able to take care of Father. So yeah, like Father mentioned, we require the help of other people, and the Lord sends those people to us in order to support us in difficult moments. And so as this week goes on, maybe you can think about one person or a group of people that could benefit from the help of your hand that you can extend to other people. Father, do you want to close with anything?
Today I got a bunch of mail, and this is done by children, maybe from 3 to age 6 or 7, or even up to 8. Some of those cards have the names, some don't, and they're drawn by small children, maybe encouraged by their parents. And I know the group as such, but I don't want to name them because some may be left out. But there are a lot of people who cared for me, and what they have said about me has elevated me, and all that I can say is the love and support from these 3 parishes is incredibly elevating for me, that in this foreign country I'm not alone, or At times I felt I'm nobody, but these letters, these prayers, and people's phone calls gave me assurance that I'm valuable to them and I'm needed in this community. That was also said by all of the officials of our diocese, including the bishop.
Yeah.
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 So that gave me a lot of strength. Apart from human interaction, bishop's telling me that I'm an important person in the whole group of brother priests.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And above all, thank you very much. It was a kind of happy interaction knowing you through my trials, problems, and also in happy moments as you are pastor today.
Yeah.
These parishes.
Thank you, Father Juel.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. We will see y'all in the following episode for next week. But anyways, in the meantime, have a wonderful rest of the week, and God bless you and your family.